Welcome everyone to our first online webinar of the 2022 application season. We're going to go ahead and give just a few more minutes for folks to join, and then we'll go ahead and dive right in. All right, we can go ahead and get started. So thank you all so much for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Reva Ramadorai, and I'm the Broadcom Masters Director. And I'm here with my colleague, Gabby Freckman.
Hello.
And we're both responsible for running the Broadcom Masters program. So you will receive tons of emails from us throughout the application process, and you probably have already if you are here watching this video. And so we want to start out by just saying that a nomination to Broadcom Masters is a huge honor. And we're so glad that you have taken the next step in the process by opening your Broadcom Masters application.
Today, we're going to give you an overview of the Broadcom Masters program, and then we will take some questions. This session is being recorded so that other students who cannot join us today can also hear this information. We want to show you that the application is a really fun process, and just by submitting one, you have a chance to win prizes. We are always here to answer your questions. Email masters@societyforscience.org at any time. As a reminder, we're here to help you. There's no such thing as a dumb question, and the judges don't see your questions, just us two. So don't worry about impressing us.
And if you have any questions today as we go through the webinar, feel free to type them in the live chat box on the right-hand side of your screen, and Gabby and I will answer some questions at the very end. So now we're going to go ahead and switch back to the live, to our screen share so we can start the webinar. All right. So what is Broadcom Masters? Broadcom Masters stands for Math, Applied Science, Technology, and Engineering for Rising Stars. And it's a program of the Society for Science, which is the organization that Gabby and I work for. The Society is a nonprofit dedicated to expanding scientific literacy, effective STEM education, and scientific research. The Society's vision is to promote the understanding and appreciation of science and the vital role it plays in human advancement, to inform, educate, and inspire. The Society does this by hosting science competitions and publishing Science News, an award-winning flagship magazine, with the most important science news from all fields and applications of science and technology. Science News for Students is the Society's award-winning free online publication dedicated to students, parents, and teachers, used by nearly 4 million visitors each year.
In addition to Broadcom Masters, the Society runs 2 high school STEM competitions: Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair, which is the world's largest international high school science competition, and the Regeneron Science Talent Search, which is the nation's oldest and most prestigious STEM competition for high school seniors. The Broadcom Foundation. The Broadcom Masters competition is made possible by our friends and sponsor, the Broadcom Foundation. The Broadcom Foundation empowers young people to be STEM literate critical thinkers and college and career ready by creating multiple pathways and equitable access to achieve the 21st century skills they need to succeed as engineers, scientists, and innovators of the future. Now let's talk about the competition. Broadcom Masters is the premier which means you must place within the top 10%. If you are watching this video, you are most likely a nominee, which is a huge accomplishment. If you haven't opened an application already, hopefully you will after this webinar. Ultimately, 30 Broadcom Masters finalists have the opportunity to spend a week in the fall showcasing their research projects and competing as teams in hands-on STEM activities. While we hope to be in DC for finals week, the Society and Broadcom Foundation will reevaluate holding an in-person event depending on the status of the COVID-19 pandemic in fall 2022.
So how do you become a Broadcom Masters finalist? The first thing you have to do in order to be considered for the Broadcom Masters is to complete a science or engineering project. You must then enter your project into a society-affiliated science and engineering fair. You can check if there's an affiliated fair near you by searching the website findafair.societyforscience.org. The next step is to receive a Broadcom Masters nomination by placing in the top 10% of projects at the fair, which for those of you watching, you've already done, so congratulations. The next big step is to complete and submit the online application by June 15th, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have not already opened an application, you can do so by going to broadcommasters.smapply.org. Once you've applied, you are in the running to become one of the top 300 masters. From those 300, the judges select 30 finalists to come to Washington, D.C. to compete in October.
What does it mean to be a nominee? Well, being nominated to apply for the Broadcom Masters is an honor in and of itself. Being a nominee means that you participated in a society-affiliated science fair and were selected as one of the top 10%. The fairs receive a suggested rubric for judging projects and selecting nominees, and you made the cut. As a nominee, your fair should have sent you a certificate and digital packet full of information about the program and how to apply. In it, you will find the Broadcom Masters official rules, parent permission form, nominee packet, a materials checklist, and a digital background. If you did not receive this, please email us at masters@societyforscience.org and we'll send you the link.
So the first stage of the Broadcom Masters competition is the entrant level stage. So to be considered for Broadcom Masters, a nominee must complete and submit an online application, which, as we've said, is due June 15th. The application asks about your project, your interests, and your critical thinking skills. The application might seem overwhelming at first, but we have tons of resources to help you. We created videos to walk you through each section of the application, which you can find here on our Broadcom Masters YouTube channel and in the resources tab of the application. Know that you can always email us at masters@societyforscience.org with any questions that you might have. We strongly encourage you to open your application and submit early. Your project is the freshest in your mind right after competing at your science fair, so it's a great idea to open the application and start working on part 2, which is the project essays, right after you are nominated. Also, you can always continue editing your application even after you hit submit, up until the deadline on June 15th.
Submitting your application is a huge step. We know the application does require some work, and you are sharing your awesome research projects with us that you have worked so hard to accomplish. To award you for that, all entrants receive a free t-shirt and are automatically entered to win prizes like a Raspberry Pi. Lastly, all entrants also join our alumni network. Our alumni are invited to attend special events hosted by the Society and receive other cool opportunities where you can meet peers who share your interests in STEM all across the country. Our top 300 masters are selected by our evaluators and announced on September 7th. Both top 300 and their teachers win awards. Teachers receive a 1-year subscription to Science News. Top 300 masters win a special prize package, including a $125 cash prize courtesy of our partnership with DoD STEM, the subscription to Science News, a 1-year subscription to Mathematica Plus software, and an invention journal courtesy of our partners at the Lemelson Foundation, and much more.
From the top 300 masters, 30 finalists are selected by our judges for an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to present their research and compete in a series of hands-on team challenges. Finalists will be announced this year on September 21st, and finals week is going to be held October 27th through November 2nd. This is a great time to also mention that the entirety of Broadcom Master's program is absolutely free to students. There is no cost to submit an application, and if you're selected as a finalist, there's absolutely no cost for a finalist and their parent or guardian to come to Washington, D.C. for the finals week. All travel, accommodations, food, everything is covered if we are meeting in person this year. All finalists also win $500 each, $1,000 for their school, and you get cool things like iPads, and most importantly, you make new friends and build a network of fellow science enthusiasts. We also have funds to, let me go to the next slide here, sorry. We also have funds to attend STEM summer camps and have several top awards ranging from $10,000, as you can see, the Lemelson Award for Invention, sponsored by the Lemelson Foundation. We have the Marconi Samueli Award for Innovation, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Award for Health Advancement, and the DoD STEM Talent Award as well. And of course, our top award, which is the $25,000 Samueli Foundation Prize in honor of overall STEM excellence. In addition, we have several other awards, first and second place STEM awards in science, technology, engineering, and math for stipends to a summer camp of your choosing. So overall, a lot of great things that you can win if you enter the Broadcom Masters competition this year. So now that we've talked about everything that you can win, you may be curious about finals week and particularly how judging will work. So there are two main components to judging during finals week. First, students will present their research project to judges in a closed session. So this may feel different from your local science fair judging experience because the judges have already read your applications, so they have more specific questions that they might ask you. So though it might sound intimidating, it can actually just feel like a regular conversation and be a lot of fun. Our finalists often say that it was a much more enjoyable experience than they initially thought it would be. You'll also have the chance to showcase your research to the public and practice your science communication skills. The public project showcase is not judged. After project judging, finalists compete in teams in various STEM challenges that you work together to creatively problem solve. These hands-on activities can be challenging, but also tons of fun. Here are some of the pictures that you can see of past challenges that we've done. We've taken the students, the finalists, to the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center in Edgewater, Maryland. We even had team challenges virtually in the past couple of years when we weren't able to meet in person. And both in each of those different scenarios, the finalists really learned a lot and still were able to collaborate together as a team on these challenges. So in the challenges, the judges are looking for leadership skills, the ability to be an effective team member, and how well-rounded you are in your STEM knowledge. So after the judges have made their observations, they select finalists for each award that we'd gone through on that last slide. In addition to judging during finals week, there are a lot of other cool experiences. You'll have the chance to connect with older alumni and learn about different academic paths and careers. Even if we meet virtually, you'll be able to participate in fun evening activities with your fellow finalists. Last year, we had done a virtual Pate night and a virtual escape room. We've done escape rooms in person here in DC as well. And like we said earlier, this experience really allows you to meet 29 other like-minded peers who are all very passionate about STEM. We hear a lot from finalists who stay in contact and remain friends well after their program. So ultimately, we want everyone who enters Broadcom Masters to feel proud, confident, and encouraged to submit their application. Just completing the application is an incredible learning opportunity and helps you practice communicating your ideas for the future. You all have done amazing work to make it this far, and we hope that you continue by opening and submitting your application this year. All Broadcom Masters, nominees, entrants, top 300 finalists make us so proud through your perseverance and eagerness to change the world through STEM. So we hope you learned a little, we hope you enjoyed learning a little more about the Broadcom Masters program. And now we are going to take some questions. So give us, Gabby and myself, just a moment to go through and see what questions we have had come in. All right, so I'll take a stab at the first question here that I see, which is, starts out with a statement. Most of the winning projects I have seen appear to be engineering projects. Are they? And if so, do I have less of a chance of winning if my project is just a research project? This is not the case. Most of the winning projects, I will start out by saying that there is no criteria or quota that the evaluators or judges fill in terms of how many the top 300 projects need to be from a certain project category, or the top 30 projects need to be from a certain category. So it is really, you have an equal opportunity, whether you're doing an engineering-based project, more of a scientific research project, a math project. So don't feel any hesitation if your project is in one category or the other. That does not affect your chances of winning.
Ava, another question that just came in is, if one of my students is chosen in the top 30, does the adult sponsor go with the student or the parents?
So yeah, that's a great question. In this case, if you're chosen as a top 30 finalist, a parent or guardian is going to be the one to accompany you to Washington, D.C. for finals week, if we have it in person this year. We have another question here that is, how long will the application take? This is a good question, and it really varies by student. Though we don't recommend it, we have had every year students open an application on the deadline day itself and still make it in time, still submit their application in time before the deadline. So it can take as short as a day. But if you'd like to kind of focus on your application a little bit more, maybe have more time to read through it, you might want to open that application earlier. And we definitely recommend opening it as soon as you get a nomination. Like I said earlier, your research project is really fresh in your mind right after you've presented, to the local judges at your fair. So that it's a great idea to just open the application and take a look, see what all we're asking, and have time to work on it. All right, we have another question about nominations. So if two partners work together and only one of them got the email for the nomination, would both of them be nominated, or only the person who got the email? That's a great question. Typically, most fairs do nominate all team members of a project, but it can vary by fair. If this is the case, please email us at masters@societyforscience.org, and we will make sure to look into that and contact the fair if we need to. So if that applies to you, definitely email us. So another question, can we do the same project that we had done and continue to develop it for Broadcom Masters. So I think this is asking, if you submitted a project to your local fair and you were nominated to apply to Broadcom Masters, can you continue working and developing on that project until you submit the application for Broadcom Masters? You're not allowed to change the project that earned you the nomination. You can continue to collect data if you'd like, if you're using the same methods and just conducting trials of the same thing, but you cannot change the scope of the project that earned you a nomination in your Broadcom Masters application. I have a basic question here. What is the email that we should send an email to if we didn't get the virtual background that came in your digital nominee packet? Email us at masters@societyforscience.org. I'll actually go into this next screen here so you can take a look and maybe screenshot this for some of the links that we've shared and our email address here. So all of these links have great resources for you while you're applying. This is the page I mentioned. If you open an application, you can see all of our past. We'll be uploading links to our webinars, and you can also see all of the walkthrough videos that we created for the application. And then this is the email you can contact us at if you have any questions. So another question, if I created a YouTube video, a slideshow, a research paper, where or how can I submit it? So for Broadcom Masters, you actually are not allowed to submit any videos or a research paper. You're going to be asked to submit what's called a visual aid. And so this is going to take any of those visuals that you might have created or presented on your poster, whether it was a physical poster or a digital poster at your local science fair, and you're going to condense that into this visual aid. So another question, if both members of a team were nominated, do they work together on the applications or are they judged individually? This is a great question, but even if a team project was nominated to apply to Broadcom Masters, students should work individually on their application, and they are also judged individually. So this means that it could be the case where a team project with 2 to 3 members is nominated, but only 1 or 2 of the members make it to the top 300 masters level or make it to the finalist level. So that is a possibility, but the application itself is asking questions where you'll also need to work individually on things like your essay questions, all of your project essays. Obviously, we know that and the judges and evaluators, I should say, know that you've worked as a team on your research, but the application does need to be completed individually. Just taking a couple minutes to read through some of the other questions. Okay, so some more questions about the visual aid coming in. If you made a slideshow for your county fair, does the slideshow get submitted? And some other questions about the number of data pictures to add to the slides. So the visual aid is just a 2-page document that you're going to submit. Once you open the application, you will see all of the detailed instructions about what the visual aid can and cannot include. So you're not going to be able to submit the whole slideshow that you might have used at your local science fair. But the important thing to do is to choose the pieces of your slideshow or poster, whatever visuals that you think best represent your projects and will best help a judge or evaluator understand the research that you did and the data that you collected. That's what you're going to want to put into the visual aid. There is a limit on how many images you can use in the visual aid. We recommend using just 3 visuals per page, and you can have up to 2 pages. The reason we do that is because the judges and evaluators aren't able to zoom in into your document to see any really small text or really small images. So it's really important that you try to make the visual aid readable just at 100% zoom. So you don't want to cram in a bunch of information there. Remember, you're already going to be submitting a whole application along with this visual. So they're going to be able to get the details and information that they need just from the part 2 of your application, all those project essays. So the visual aid should really just be the most important pieces and parts of your poster or whatever visual presentation that you had done at your local science fair. It is not a problem if you are registering right now in the application with your current school and you might enroll in a different school in August. It's very common for Broadcom Masters because you can be in grades 6 through 8. A lot of students who are in 8th grade are obviously going to move on to high school. So we know that they're going to be in a different school. We will stay in touch through the emails you give us, your current school that you were in for middle school, that you were in when you were nominated is going to get the notification if you're chosen as a top 300 or a 30 finalist. And then we'll also, if you do make it to the finalist level, we'll ask for your current school information so they can know what great things you're doing as well. I'm going to take another quick pause to just read through the question. All right, so we're going to just answer one more question here. If you and a partner win your local science fair and you register, I think the participant is just asking if you can still continue to work on research projects together in the future. Yes, absolutely. You're more than welcome to continue your research projects together. We know that Broadcom Masters is not necessarily the end of your research journeys and is more than likely the start of your research journeys, which is great. So yes, you can definitely still be a team. We just ask that you complete the applications individually. All right, so I think that wraps up our webinar. If you did not get your questions answered today, please email us at masters@societyforscience.org and we'll be happy to help you out. And with that, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you open and submit your application soon, and we can't wait to read all about you and your research later this summer. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great evening.